Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really venturing into some fascinating territory.
We are. We're exploring beyond everyday awareness, tapping into something like, well, cosmic memory.
Exactly, this idea that our consciousness holds echoes, of experiences far beyond just this one life.
And we've got some really compelling material from a listener, a personal account of these profound inner journeys.
Yeah, journeys that seem to offer a unique glimpse into, well, the potential scope of consciousness, maybe even reality itself.
That's right. They experienced meditations that unlocked these vivid recollections, past lives, it seems, with connections that really resonate now.
And the focus for this deep dive, the kind of key, is this very intriguing phrase, the Mafu Malidac incident flying on swans.
It really jumps out at you, doesn't it? Mafu, Malidac, flying swans.
It does. Sparks immediate curiosity.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and unpack what it all means.
Absolutely. You'll see how these seemingly separate things actually weave together. It paints a picture of, well, multidimensional existence in this person's own story.
Okay, so let's dive in. The first recollection you mentioned was this past life on a planet called Malidac. What stood out there?
Well, what's really striking is the overwhelming sense of harmony. Just pure love described in that experience.
Harmony and love.
And the inhabitants.
Described as gentle beings, the listener said, a little like a friendly cat with huge gold eyes. It suggests something quite different from us, maybe more innocent or purely energetic.
Wow. Friendly cats with gold eyes. And there was this game, Musical Rainbows.
Yes, creating light and music with just hand gestures. A shush of the hands was the phrase used.
That sounds beautiful, like effortless creation, almost like play was just fundamental.
Exactly. And what's really insightful, I think, is how each individual rainbow, each child's creation, added to this unified whole.
So not separate displays, but interconnected.
Precisely. It hints at a society where, creativity and connection were just deeply woven together. Harmonious co-creation, maybe?
And the listener experienced this as, what, a child? 4 or 5? Yeah, around that age, seemingly with this direct, unfiltered connection to that creative energy.
And there was his sister mentioned, Catherine.
Yes, a past life sister named Catherine. And that name still holds a resonance for the listener now in this life.
Like an echo across time, that feeling of familiarity.
Exactly. These echoes can be really strong indicators, perhaps, of energetic links or soul connections that last beyond one lifetime.
But then the feeling shifted, right? It wasn't all harmony.
No, this sense of foreboding started to creep in. It led to a vision of Malidec's destruction.
Destruction. Wow. Describes a tremendous shock, a shattering of that harmony.
Yeah.
That sounds, well, traumatic.
Deeply disruptive, yes.
Yeah.
And the response was quite something. The listener recalls being placed in a ship
It's a ship going where?
sent towards Earth, specifically towards Egypt, and put into what was described as a timeless sleep.
Timeless sleep. Why?
To preserve the spark, that's the word used, maybe their core consciousness, their essence.
Like protecting a flame in a storm,
Yeah.
safeguarding it.
Precisely. Safeguarding that identity against this huge planetary event.
Which brings us then to the next layer, the Egyptian incarnation.
Right. Here, the perception shifts. The listener saw themselves as a being from another dimension, assisting Egypt's enlightenment.
Another dimension, so not a typical human form.
No, described as a body unlike Earth humans, and with this ability to merge with the universe.
Merge with the universe, but still be individual.
Yes, while retaining individual consciousness, it points to a much more fluid sense of self, where individual and universal aren't quite so separate.
That's hard to even grasp. And this is where Radabin comes in.
Correct, Radabin, described as this, well, incredible being who actually rescued the listener from Malidac.
Rescued them. So there's a direct link back.
Yes, and their connection sounds joyful, playful even. Laughing and playing through the universe was the phrase.
Playing through the universe, that's quite an image. Cosmic scale friendship.
It really is. And the purpose in Egypt, apparently around 34,000 years ago, was to teach this transcendence.
Transcendence of the physical body.
Yes, and achieving universal consciousness. Guiding humans towards it through a high vibrational frequency.
High vibrational frequency, like a state of being.
Yeah.
An energetic level.
Exactly. A state that allows for that expanded perception and connection.
And the idea is that this ability is actually inherent in all humans. We've just forgotten.
That's the suggestion,
Oh.
that it's latent within us, obscured over time. A really powerful thought, isn't it? Makes you wonder.
It does. What we might be capable of remembering. And the pyramids, is there a connection there?
Well, the pyramids are mentioned in relation to Radabin. The idea presented is that they were built around this being.
Around Radabin, implying Radabin was central, maybe energetically.
It suggests a very significant role, yes, in Egypt's spiritual, maybe even technological development, focused on facilitating this higher consciousness.
Okay, so let's fast forward now. Current life, there's a reunion with Radabin.
Yes, but indirectly, through a channel named Amaji, who brought through an entity called Mafu.
Mafu. And Mafu is connected to Radabin.
That's the understanding, yes, as if these deep connections can operate outside our linear time.
And Mafu's role, what was perceived there?
Mafuratobin was seen as bringing, well, unprecedented wisdom to Earth. The listener described it as observing a game of awakening.
A game of awakening, like a conscious, maybe guided process
Yeah.
to help humanity remember.
That's the implication. A divinely inspired effort, perhaps, for us to recall our true universal nature.
And the listener got directly involved.
At a retreat.
Yes, a retreat with Mafu. And there was this specific pairing for meditation with a middle-aged lady. This turned out to be very significant.
So.
During the meditation, a powerful vision came through. This lady was the listener's mother from Malidac.
Wow. The mother from that past life.
Yes, a recognition across lifetimes, across dimensions, described as tears of joyful recognition, realizing their true identities to each other.
That's incredible. It really brings the vast cosmic scale right down to a deeply personal connection. It does. It highlights the potential for soul recognition beyond our usual senses, beyond our understanding of time, and these bonds persisting.
And the listener felt Mafu was like a guide, a coach.
Yes, very much appreciated Mafu as a guide, a coach for personal development. It points to the value of mentorship on this kind of awakening journey.
But it wasn't just about receiving guidance, was it?
No, and the listener made that point very clearly. We have to shoot the ball, they said.
Meaning we have to actively participate.
Exactly. Guidance is there, support is there, but the effort, the responsibility for growth, for remembering, is ultimately ours. Active participation is key.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's turn to that title phrase again, flying on swans. This came up during experiences at the Monroe Institute.
That's right. This specific imagery emerged there, flying on swans.
Swans. They often symbolize grace, purity, right? Moving between worlds in mythology.
They do carry a lot of symbolism, but the
Yeah.
experience here hints at maybe something more literal, or at least more direct than just a symbol.
More than a symbol, like what?
Well, the question arises, could swans in this context be actual vehicles of consciousness, or maybe energetic forms that facilitate interdimensional travel?
Vehicles of consciousness. That's a fascinating idea.
It is. It pushes beyond just metaphor. And there's a connection back, isn't there?
Back to Malidac and Radabin.
Yes. This interdimensional flying with swans from the Monroe experience seems to resonate with the Malidac memory and the association with Radabin. It suggests a continuity.
A recurring theme or motif in the listener's inner world.
Perhaps. Or maybe a familiar mode of transit, a kind of graceful movement between realities that resonates deeply across these different experiences. It points towards an underlying unity.
An underlying unity connecting Malidac, Egypt, Mafu, the Swans.
Exactly. These aren't necessarily separate, isolated events, but maybe facets of a larger, interconnected journey of consciousness.
And to help frame all this, there was that quote from someone named Zoran.
Ah, yes. The universe is a stage with infinite acts, human, and you are both the actor, the audience, and the playwright, remembering your lines from forgotten plays.
That really captures it, doesn't it? Actor, audience, playwright, remembering forgotten lines.
It beautifully sums up this idea of our multidimensional nature and our active role. We're not just watching, we're participating, remembering, reenacting parts of this vast cosmic story.
So as we wrap up this, well, truly incredible deep dive, we've touched on multidimensional existence, these deep connections across lifetimes.
The journey of consciousness itself and this potential within all of us, really, to remember our universal nature.
The listener's personal story gives such a vivid illustration of these huge possibilities.
It really does. And it's a potent reminder, I think, that our everyday reality might just be one small part of a much, much grander picture.
A glimpse of a vast, intricate cosmic tapestry.
Exactly. These recollections offer a fascinating window into that vastness and the deep connections running through it all.
So for you, our listener, we want to leave you with something to consider. It's been called the Dragon Trial Prompt.
Yes. The idea is to simply find a quiet moment for yourself, a space for introspection.
And just gently open yourself to any subtle echoes, any resonances of past experiences that might, surface.
There's no need to force it or analyze too much. Just observe. See if any whispers or impressions emerge from that quiet space.
Consider that quote again. The universe is a stage. Maybe you'll catch a faint melody from one of those forgotten plays.
It's all part of the ongoing journey of self-discovery, unfolding into the vast, quite wondrous landscape of your own being.